But welcome back to the Roaring Peacock podcast. We talk about Leeds United. My name's Adonis. Big show coming up for you. We're going to talk about Summerville and Patrick Bamford and whether he should. Do you think he should take penalties? Matt, do you like seeing Bamford take? Does it fill you with confidence? Joining us to discuss this is Barney. Oh, he's definitely not. Like who is Stuart? It's
Fuck knows. I don't know.
Barney LUFC 21. Barnes.
Aye, be all right.
Very good, thank you, Barnes. And the Prince of Darkness in stereoscopic sound at Ewan Metcalf, yes. Machiavelli. Big Mac.
Coming in your ears. Can you hear me now? All right, lads. You okay? It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah. It's been a long time, as ever.
I think that's what keeps people interested. We're not on all the time fucking talking about a blade of grass near the fucking corner flag. We just turn up every now and again, do, talk about all kinds of world beating and earth-shattering finds that we've had and a bit of Leeds, and people love us for it. What do you want?
Yeah. Did you watch the Tyson Fury fight last night?
Bollocks. No. Fight. It's a fucking pantomime, that. No, you're all right, cheers. No time.
Good, we don't have to talk about that then.
No, it's not. It's shocking. It's embarrassment. Boxing's dying, in it, with all these YouTubers and anybody can put a pair of gloves on now and climb through the ring. It used to be the preserve of the elite and like the tough, but now it's just anybody. And I don't think Fury did himself any favours yesterday, did he? For what I gather, I didn't watch it. Like I say, I haven't got time for that.
No, he didn't. But they made me stay up till God knows, it was 2 a.m. or something by the time over here.
Oh, Jesus.
By the time I got to sleep. Right here, Leeds United. So according to SofaScore, so we're about a third of the way through the season. According to SofaScore, who is Leeds United's, bit of a pop quiz, top-rated player? Barnes? Got a guess?
Ruter, I'm going for. Yeah.
Close. You're wrong, Barnes. You're wrong. Hang your head in shame, lad. Call yourself a Leeds man. Call yourself a super fan, eh? Mac?
Well, I'd go between two, but let's say Dan James.
2 for 2. 2 for 2. So, very unlucky though. So, Crysencio Summerville, SofaScore has, they're a bit meaningless, all these ratings on these things, aren't they? 7.88. And then number 2 is Luis Sinistera, but I'm just going to ignore him for obvious reasons. Third is Dan James, 7.33. So silver medal to Ewan. And Jorginho Ruter is 4th.
Wait a minute. How is Sinistera on the top 3 of Leeds players when he doesn't play for Leeds and he's not played all season? How the fuck does that work?
He had a good game before he left to go to Bournemouth.
Did he? Fucking hell.
Before he went to retire with the old people and fish and chips by the sea.
Yeah.
Sitting on benches, wistful looks.
Bifocal window shops. Yeah.
Have you got some curry sauce, mate?
Yeah.
Shandy bass, please.
Wow.
Yes, I'd like scraps, thanks very much. And a battered sausage.
Ooh, I love a battered sausage.
Battered sausage and curry sauce. So, Crysencio Summerville, then. Let's start off with him. 174 centimetres of him. Should have made you guess that as well.
Yeah,
oh, dear.
Miles out.
Good? Having a good season?
Summerville's great, yeah. I was one that doubted his mentality, not his ability, but his commitment and a little bit of his attitude at times. I think that's come to the fore a few times since he's been with us, hasn't it? I think there was a while ago, didn't he sort of fall out with somebody for not being allowed to take a penalty? I wish he'd have done that on the other night against Stoke. I wish he'd have fought to take a penalty instead of letting Bamford take it. But
he did. Yeah, he tried. He grabbed the ball. And he went up to Strauch and was like, "You're captain."
Tell him.
It intervened.
Tell him fuck off. Yeah, he's playing great. I think he's just doing he's doing what he's good at. He's keeping it simple, but he's using his pace, his trickery, and ultimately, it's a bit like James, in it. The end product's there at the moment, which you can be as good as you want, in the mid-third and, look quick and all that. But if you're not creating and scoring, it means nothing. And I think him, he's obviously done that. And he's doing the thing that I've always said about him of, go beat people, take people on, use your quick feet, go and use your speed. And he's got a good touch at speed as well, but also have a shot. I mean, the goal, the first one he scored, was it the first one he scored? Where he sort of underhit it and it went through about three people and, keeper looked like he should have done better. It's another one where, they want this I just watched Man City, they want the perfect shot, don't they? Or this kind of route to goal, and it's like, just hit something sometimes and you might get a result. And it's he's a joy to watch at the moment, isn't it? It's really good to watch him playing really well.
Barnes, Summerville?
I mean, for such a small lad, he's really strong on the ball, especially in the Championship when you've got some big bastards around. He manages to hold the ball up really well. Again, like Max says, his actual decision-making, there's still that sometimes when he doesn't make the right decision, but 90% of the time he's doing really well with that. And just the way he interchanges with the front three. Our front three, when we go forward, it's absolutely scary at times, the way they manage to pass the ball and find the space. So it's really enjoyable to watch. And I don't think Summerville is sort of playing that winger role anymore. He's more sometimes coming inside or a number 10 role, so you never really know what position he's playing in.
Yeah, he's hard to pick up because he pops up everywhere at the moment. And that's really good, giving him that free role. And if you look at that front 3 or 4, probably James is the exception, but if you look at Rutter, Pirro and him and Summerville, they're all kind of popping up all over the pitch and it's causing mayhem, isn't it? And there's times when it don't come off, the whole game, and probably the Stoke game where it just didn't look quite right, but when it does come off, it's marvellous. I mean, you can't argue with 2 assists and 2 goals in a game, can you? I mean, in the first half as well. And the scary thing is he's not 100% fit. I think he's playing about 80-85% fit. So God bless. I hope we see him when he's at 100% for the remainder of the season. It'd be good.
Yeah, I feel like it's just his shoulder, but somehow it's like focusing him. But yeah, it's that bravery, isn't it? It's that trying to make something happen, and that gets people up off their seats. And yeah, brilliant balance, both feet really good, and the sort of telepathic connection he's got with Rutter and Willy Nonto as well. He's picked that up so quick. It's kind of it's just weird, especially because you can sort of, you could have seen with Gelhardt and Greenwood, because they played in the youth team, they came up together, but just they pick each other's games up so quick. Hey up, lads, says Steve Palin.
Hey up, Steve.
Hey up, Steve. Good to see you. Huddersfield. So first 45 minutes, I'm trying to think of a better 45 minutes of watching Leeds in my life. Struggling.
I'm a bit older than you. I've seen some good ones. I've seen some good first halves for Leeds, but I think the last time we were 4-0 up at half time was Yeboah scored a hat-trick against Ipswich as well. That was a good half of football. I've seen some good halves of football. I think recently, certainly in recent years, that's got to be up there, hasn't it? It's cracking.
And it's I'm wondering, a bit controversial, but is this got the potential to be better than Bielsa?
Oof.
Big call.
It is a big
Early
call.
Yeah.
I think I think the thing about Farke is he's kind of introducing his style a bit more slowly. He's had to, because he hasn't had a settled squad when he started. I think Bielsa, you think about that Stoke game, it's like immediate one. It was like, what is going on here? This is like a completely different brand of football, and players who've played for us for years look completely different footballers. So it is slightly different, and it is a lot more measured. I don't mind that. It's not quite as chaotic at times, and I think it can be frustrating. I mean, I've been critical of the way we start games. I think I was saying to you, Barney, we were talking, weren't we, about when was the last time we started a game on the front foot and kind of looked like the better team. And even the games we've won, Watford, Millwall, we didn't in those games. The first 10, 15, 20 minutes we weren't great. I think Bristol City, somebody referenced the Bristol City game that we seemed to start well, but again, it was one each at half time. And so, to go out and blow them away, I mean, let's be really honest, poor Huddersfield team. I mean, they've always had a bit of fight in them in a Yorkshire derby, haven't they? But they look devoid of ideas, and apart from a couple of breaks and a couple of mistakes, really, they were never in the game, were they? So, let's be really realistic about the standard of the opposition as well. But yeah, a cracking start, and for once getting them on the front foot, and that's how we need to be starting games and play a little bit more quicker, a little bit more incisive. I think at times a bit more instinctive, because I think being too deliberate sometimes plays into teams like that's hands. But yeah, it was a good first half. It's hard to be critical, isn't it, when you're 4-0 up?
I think for me, it's just the way it showed that we were a relegated Premier League team where we've got Premier League quality players. No doubt they have been relegated, but they do have that quality compared to how Huddersfield are. But it's just how we just managed to smash Huddersfield apart in the first half. And I mean, the second half was a bit boring, but the fact that we were 4-0 up, it was just far too easy. And their right back had a torrid time, and even Sam Byron went past him once, and I'm like, fucking hell, this is bad. And I mean, I was expecting they were just going to sit back, but Darren Moore came to want us to play football, which is fair play to him, but they're just not good enough, especially a Farke team that will dominate at home as well. And some of the play we did, just some of the interchanging passes, and what our secret weapon, and the Leicester fans tweeted about this as well, is that what they're worried about when they play us next Friday is our transition play, especially from corners or from set pieces when we win the ball back, within 2 or 3 passes, bang. And that's probably similar to how Bielsa was when we were in the transition play, which was no one really spoke about because of other stuff we were doing. But I mean, can we compare it to Bielsa's ball? It's a different, like Mark was saying, it's a different type of football. It's not as chaotic, but it's really enjoyable to watch. And the big thing that for me is actually the positioning of players, how they manage to position themselves to win the ball back. And what I noticed on yesterday as well, our pressing was far better, because I've been trying to work out what a press is under Farke, but yesterday we were on him straight away, and I think that's where we were failing a little bit against Stoke.
Yeah, it's weird because we've had to unlearn, sort of like with Jesse Marsh made the squad unlearn everything we'd learned with Bielsa. So
yeah,
and pretty much anything about football as well, even to the point of like passing to each other. We unlearned that too.
Novel idea that was. It was a great idea that, wasn't it? Each other. That's good. Let's give the ball away loads and try and re-win it back in the final third. Great idea that. What a fucking genius.
And now under Farke, and then under Marsh, we were sort of running around like headless chickens trying to press everybody. And now we under Farke, we kind of sit back a bit more and press zonally and allow them the ball and we really don't press until they get sort of into our half, or if one of the right backs or the midfielders get the ball. And then that's a pressing trigger, and then they'll start moving. But yeah, it's much more organised, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot more organised, and I think it's more the shape's better. I'm not saying it's better than a Bielsa team in its pomp, but there was times where Bielsa teams had gaps everywhere in the midfield, and kind of, I think it's just a bit more controlled. I mean, if you look at Ampadu, he's playing a really disciplined role as well. I think he's more disciplined than he was when he played the first sort of 2 or 3 games. But I think I'll tell you who I think makes a difference. I know people have said, we want Gray. I think Kamara makes a huge difference, because I think he's unlike Gray and Ampadu and Gruyev. I think he pops up on the edge of the box. He wants to play around the edge of the box as well. Whereas I think sometimes, Ampadu, Gray and Gruyev and the little that I've seen him all want to kind of sit. And I think Kamara's clever on the ball. The way he receives the ball is really clever. He's always thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead as well, so he knows how he wants to receive the ball and areas he wants to go into. I thought he made a big difference yesterday. Again, admittedly against a poor team, but I like him a lot. I think he's going to make a big difference. He controls the tempo. He's very calm. He don't panic in any part of the pitch, whether it's on the edge of his own box or, in the final third. He seems to do a lot of good things. Can I just talk about their right back for a minute? And I said this yesterday, right? I've genuinely played with quite a lot of right fullbacks better than him in pub teams. He was fucking awful. He's possibly the worst fullback. I mean, I don't want to pick the poor kid out, but I'm gonna. And to be fair, it's not just me, because there's actually a petition from Huddersfield fans yesterday I saw on social media to get him out. So they've got a picture of him with a big red cross in front of him, and it gathered quite a bit of momentum yesterday evening. So he was appalling, man. It was like somebody had won a competition to play right back for Huddersfield. It was fucking shocking.
This is the guy Ruter turned inside out, and then he just stood with his hands on his head. He couldn't believe what had just happened.
They kept getting thrown on the floor. I mean, even Summerville threw him on the floor, like out-muscled him at one point. Ruter did it about 3 times. I mean, everything that came down that left-hand side in the first 20 minutes, it looked like we could score. I mean, it was like walking in on goal. You might as well bang a fence post in the ground as have him at right back. But yeah, that was a tragic performance. I don't think the keeper covered himself in glory either. But there was a few. I mean, I remember that Hogg was always a bit of a pain in the arse when he played against us a few years ago. But he looked shocking as well. I mean, there were apart from that kid up front and the couple of players, they looked. Yeah, they're going to struggle to stay up out there.
I mean, they're already wanting Darren Moore out, aren't they? He's only been there.
Yeah, they were singing yesterday about. I think they were singing "Get him out," and we were singing "Keep him in." So I mean, that was quite funny. But I think that the thing about Huddersfield is I can't. How have they got 40? Have they got something like 13 points or 14 points? How have they done that? That's Warnock, innit?
Yeah.
But I don't. I mean, it sort of makes you wonder how we didn't do that to Wednesday, really, because Wednesday are even worse than them. So how we got a draw against Wednesday? They're the kind of games you're going to regret, aren't they? Not beating Wednesday because they're poor, but Huddersfield are really poor. Deep in thought.
Ratings then. Summerville got a perfect 10. I don't think I've ever seen that on SofaScore. There you go. 2 goals, 2 assists. That's what you need to do to get a perfect 10. Dan James got 8.4. Missed 2 goals. Your right back, your friend S. Thomas.
Yeah, that's him, yeah.
5.9.
Fucking hell, that's generous.
5.9, wow.
Guess who else got 5.9?
Melia. I was just getting onto that. Fucking hell, he had one thing to do all game. It was straight into his bread basket from 30 yards out, and he fucking spills it. Jesus, not good, was it?
He's not good, and statistically, he's not very good. I was looking at the stats. He's got one of the, I think, 5th lowest save percentage in the championship. So I don't want to criticize him too much, but and he has looked a bit better. But I don't know, how many clean sheets have we kept? But how many shots have we faced? We haven't faced so many shots. So I feel like
his distribution's a lot better. I must admit, I think his distribution's got improved massively. I mean, saves-wise, there's games where he's not had to do a great deal. I think he has made a few good saves, but I mean, that one yesterday, you'd expect a keeper on a Saturday morning to save that, wouldn't you? It was straight into his midriff. And I think people have commented on it that the part of the reason the second half dropped off quite a lot was we made a lot of changes. Rodon went off. Summerville went off. There was a lot of changes. And as soon as, I mean, I'm not one of them that's going to dig Cooper and Ayling out because I think they are decent at that level. But as soon as they came on, they sort of exploited a few opportunities that were created by mistakes, particularly Cooper. I mean, I think he probably just got to the ball for that one that he let the guy run off him and potentially was a penalty, but it was touch and go. There's always that intake of breath from the cough, which suggests that it might have been a lot. You probably had a better view than me, Barney, but yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to someone next to me in the stands, and I was saying that I don't think Cooper and Ayling are those type of players that can come on. They need to start a game, especially Cooper. I think he's one of those defenders that needs to read the game while it's being played rather than coming on cold. I think that's when you're going to start seeing rash decisions from him. Yeah, I mean, I think I like Cooper, but I think it's showing now that I mean everyone's been talking about it, but we are seeing the end of the old guard. And the centre of defence, Rodon and Struik together play really, really well together. They really complement each other. And Struik looks a different player again because he looks more relaxed on the ball as well. But I don't understand why he took Rodon off.
I don't injured, wasn't he?
Injured.
Oh, was he injured?
Yeah,
Was he?
yeah. He got a knock and he wasn't quite right after, and they tried to shield that ball out on the west stand, didn't he? And he was struggling, and he did. I can't remember who stood next to him was telling the physio to kind of to get him sorted, and I think it's a precautionary one. They said it was a tight hamstring or something. So you don't want to force them, do you? Because you'll end up being out for 6 to 8 weeks, which we definitely could do without. Because is there not an argument for Cresswell to come on in those situations now? Surely, if it, I can't get my head around this. I mean, whenever I've seen him play, he's done nothing but good things, Cresswell. And then you bring in on Cooper, who immediately probably let 2 or 3 chances be created on the back of mistakes or indecision or whatever. Surely there's an argument for Cresswell to come in now.
So, I feel like all 3 of them are lacking a lot of confidence. So Ayling, Bamford, and Cooper, they just haven't had the minutes, and I don't know what it is, but yeah, just Bielsa managed to get a tune out of them where no one else has really.
I think also those 3 players probably were some of the players that put their body through the maximum. And Bielsa said himself, didn't he? He said that these players will not be able to do it for another 2 seasons. I think it's taken this toll on them physically, but also mentally as well, especially probably for players like Cooper who've had to hold this club on his shoulders sometimes when he's been captain. So he's had to mentally do that. But yeah.
Yes. 4-0 up, 60th minute. Ayling comes on for Byram. Byram's had an amazing impact so far this season. Nonta comes on for Summerville. Hasn't looked the same since his injury. Nonta.
He's shit. He doesn't look interested though to a point.
No,
he does easy things all the time. He's taking really easy decisions every time, like sort of holding the ball up, playing it back 35 yards. I mean, you wanted him yesterday against poor fullback, poor defences, we've already said, to go and take some people on and do something, and he didn't even look remotely interested.
I said the exact same thing yesterday. There was times when he had the ball where probably James or Summerville would have taken the man on, but he caught the ball, stood with the ball, and then passed it back. I don't know if his confidence has gone or something's got in his head because of this transfer that never happened. I don't know, but he's not the player that everyone thought he was, especially a player like him where you thought that he was going to smash the championship. He just looks really ordinary at the moment.
Yep. And then Cooper comes on for Rodon, injury, and they score 7 minutes later.
Yeah. Fair point. You can see it coming to a point because, like I said, the disruption alone would have caused the problem. But on the Nonto thing, I think he's again a player who needs minutes. I think when he was playing a lot, it's like anything, isn't it? Managers fancy certain players and don't fancy other ones. And I think probably Farke, because of everything that's happened, particularly the disruption he caused in the summer, he'll be at the bottom of the list, won't he? And you sort of look at it and think, how did he get a start the other day, really, against Stoke? And it showed that, when you haven't got James, I mean, the worry is if you got an injury to James, Summerville, Rodon, Ampadu, as is inevitably you're going to get injuries throughout the season. Are these people that we're sort of saying are going to be equally as good, anywhere near as good? I'd argue Nonto's certainly showing at the minute not. And Anthony looks like a player who's better come off the bench. Again, he looked great yesterday when he came off the bench, but he looked appalling on Wednesday when he started against Stoke. So, yeah, it's. I think that there's players there that need minutes, and whether they over a course of 2 or 3 games, if they got a run, would be better. I assume they certainly would be because what I've seen so far from both starting a game was fucking tragic, really.
Yep. All right. Patrick Bamford.
Segueing nicely onto underperformance. Let's move to Bamford.
So he comes on, and you knew what he was going to do, and then he does well to win the penalty. I think it's probably a dive. but it's a good dive because there is contact.
Played for it, yeah.
Yeah. Which I think in and of itself is a telltale sign, because if I think about myself, there is no way I'm looking for a penalty there. I'm running onto that ball and having a shot, like I'm taking it on. But anyway, so he's looking for it, and then as soon as he gets it, and is he missed the last three now? Was it Arsenal and Newcastle?
Newcastle, yeah.
Last season.
The stat was he scored 5 in 10.
Right.
Which is just, for a striker who should be taking penalties, that's not good enough, is it?
So toss of the coin, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You got more chance of pulling at fibre at 4 a.m.
I've got more chance of.
What about that? I was incoherent.
I've got more chance of pulling Megan Fox and Bamford scoring.
Yeah.
That's your
just don't let him on penalties. The worst thing about Bamford.
Once you get hounded now.
Yeah, that's a big call, that, Barney. I think probably your odds are a bit less than.
Oh, you go on about mental health all the time, Barney. Then you're having a go at players like this.
Yeah. You open yourself up there, Barney. But yeah, I think the thing about Bamford is actually when he's come on, he's looked good. He's played okay. There was a point yesterday where he seemed to make a bit of a difference with his runs that he was making, creating space for people. He does sort of play higher up the pitch than like a Pirro, or so he's sort of leading the line a bit more. And he did the same against Stoke. Had he not took that penalty and he'd let Summerville have it, and Summerville scores it, we'd have all been saying, well done, you won the penalty, you've got your hero. So not hero status back, but he'd have got some kudos for that. And he spoiled it by fucking insisting to take it when he's got that appalling record in a game where you kind of felt like a goal was going to win that game. I think if we'd have scored that, it'd have finished 1-0, and that'd have been that. Such an important, no less important than the Newcastle game, to win the Arsenal game potentially. But definitely, you sort of think, read the room, man. Just you've hardly played. You've only come on. It's your first touch. Let Summerville, who's high on confidence, take it. I mean, I was trying to think who would have rather have took that penalty. Who would have not rather have taken that penalty than Bamford? You sort of go through the team because they're saying, Pirro went off, so that was why Bamford took it. Yeah, but who else would I have rather taken it than Bamford? Virtually everybody. Strike, yeah. James, yeah. Summerville, well, everybody bar possibly Melia. I would have rather have taken that penalty than him. But yeah, he's not playing with confidence. So the last thing you want is to take a penalty with 8-10 minutes left, whatever.
I feel sorry for him, to be fair. I think he's just mentally and physically broken. His last time he scored was, 2 years ago? He's trying to force the issue. That's why he took the penalty. He wanted to take the penalty to say, right, I've got my confidence back, I've got to score a goal. But probably 100% of that our fan base watching that game on Wednesday night, him taking the penalty, we all knew. Even me, the most happy clapper person I've ever, said, fucking hell, not Bamford. Because we all knew what was going to happen. It wasn't even a good penalty. It wasn't even like... even the keeper went down before he took the shot. It was just... Honestly, it's just... And, I mean, when he came on yesterday, some fans were actually booing him when he came on. And then the next song, All E's, aren't we? Well, you can't have it both ways, lads.
Yeah, that was out of order. That he shouldn't be booing a player. He's going to have to do a job for us, isn't he? At least till January, so don't boo it. And like I say, I think his performances haven't been too bad. I thought yesterday was okay. The thing about him, you can see how lacking in confidence he is. I mean, he got that ball, he brought the ball down, did really well to shift it, and sort of had this really tame shot where he tried to put it in the opposite corner, like just bend that one into the far corner. But he's really scratching for form and kind of confidence. And again, I sort of think about, my 12-year-old son was sat with me watching the game the other night and said he's going to sky this, and he was absolutely bang on. And like you said, the weird thing is he'd sent the keeper the wrong way, so all he had to do was put it on target on the other half of the net, and it scores. And he's kind of not even looking at the keeper or thinking about the keeper's movement. He's almost thinking, I've got to get in the top corner here or off the crossbar and in to score. And it just shows a lack of massive lack of confidence, but also a lack of any technique, or it's kind of he's lost it. I mean, he's really lost it. It's a shame. I say I feel a bit sorry for him, but just don't put yourself in that position. Let somebody else who's confident take it.
Yeah, it's all the approach, isn't it? Like you were saying about Summerville, all he had to do was, turn one way, turn the other, and just basically rolled the ball into the net through 3 pairs of legs or 2 pairs of legs. And you look at Messi's like 90% of Messi's goals. What does he do? He just passes it in. He's not trying to tear a hole in the netting. And it's the same with Bamford. He's so devoid of confidence. He's thought, the keeper is suddenly this enormous. It's like a nightmare, isn't it? Is the keeper's this sort of gigantic troll in the goal who's looming larger and larger in his head, and the world's getting darker and darker, and he's having to hit it as hard as he can.
Yeah, poor, very poor. But we were all poor that night. I mean, anybody blaming Bamford, the penalty, fair enough. But I mean, as a team, it was like I said to somebody, we're like a bipolar team. We can turn up, and do Watford and Millwall, and then we turn up at Southampton and we go down really easily. And same with Stoke. Really, we never really looked like scoring. I mean, we still missed some good chances. But yeah, it was just one of them nights, wasn't it? And as long as we keep bouncing back with a performance like we did on Saturday, then it's okay, Nick. You're going to lose games, and you're going to lose games that you probably should win. But it was a good way to bounce back 4-0 up at half time.
I just remember, in the Championship, he had one of the lowest conversion rates in Europe. I think it was in the top 5 worst strikers. Yeah. In Europe for conversion rate. And I just remember I remember Riot Badger, somebody sitting next to Riot Badger would used to yell at him, just bang it in the top corner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which you felt like, I don't know, he's not necessarily capable of doing that, but it always got to him, the criticism, because every time he would then score his one goal in three games or whatever, or 100 shots, we created so many chances under Bielsa. Take your pick. Then he'd sprint to the stand and cup his ears, knee slide right in front of the fans, and it just feels like he's, I don't know, is there a performance psychologist somewhere? He's quite capable of doing it when there were no fans in the stadiums, put it in the top corner easily. And that game against Aston Villa.
Yeah, I think for me is that as a player, he's been probably knocked back so much trying to prove a point as a striker. I mean, there was that story about Deitch saying that he was a posh boy, got into a good position to be a professional footballer. And I mean, even Leeds fans going about being a Tory and all sorts like that. But maybe that does get to him sometimes. But as a footballer, maybe you need to be a little bit harder skinned to know that you're going to have some criticism when things aren't going well as well. But I mean, for me, some of his off the ball stuff he used to do, and it's been highlighted again this season. He can do it off the ball stuff, but I don't know. I wouldn't say he's one of those out and out strikers where you just give him the ball. He needs probably 2 or 3 chances, and also if he's on his scoring run, he gets that confidence where he'll start scoring more goals. But there's not been that much time at the club where he's had a lot of confidence on scoring goals.
No, I don't think there's a lot of strikers out there like that, though. That's why Haaland's at a premium, because he does very little, doesn't touch the ball, then scores 3 times. You look at Beckford. I mean, Beckford used to get pelters, from certain stands, about conversion rate and not looking interested at times. You look at Pirro. Pirro's going to be one of them players again that he'll get criticism without a doubt, because he's not scored for a bit now. While he was getting the goals, people would forgive the fact that he's not an out and out lead the line striker. He doesn't play a typical 9 role. He's not one of them that gets the ball 4 times in a game and scores once. He's all over the pitch making little interventions and touches, and I love the way Pirro plays, and I think he's pivotal to the system. I also think Bamford, if you look at, everybody respects Bielsa, and Bielsa I reckon Bamford was possibly the first player on the team sheet. So there must be something in the system and a strike like that fitting it, as I believe Pirro will probably prove. But if they're not getting the goals, you look at it throughout history, the conversion rate. Viduka used to get it sometimes lazy, look disinteresting. You look at what a good striker he was. Again, Beckford, I used to know people used to give Beckford absolute pelters week in, week out for lazy, or he needs 4 chances to score. But you can't argue with the games per goal ratio, can you? So you've got to be a bit forgiving, I think. And Bamford needs everybody to get behind him, doesn't he? And I'm the first one, as you know, to get after players sometimes if they're not, certainly if they're not trying, which you can't accuse him of that. But if it's confidence and a bit of belief and probably a goal just to go in off his arse or get a goal, whatever he needs, then I hope he gets it soon, because he could be quite important coming off the bench for us. And at the moment, it's not really, is he? He's a bit meh. So yeah.
I mean, the thing he does well is he holds the ball up. He's a target man, and he drags defenders out of position for other people to run in behind. That season that we went up, our promotion season, he had during it, he had the most shots off target in the Championship, 53, and he missed 20 big chances.
Oh, right.
And
Damning,
it felt like that as well. It felt like that. I mean, that's how you have to perform to get into the top 5 worst conversion ratings in Europe's top 6, 7, 8 leagues.
And also, I for some reason I always look at where Villa are now and some of the decisions they've made when we should have made those decisions about getting rid of the coaches and stuff. But there was that time when it was between him and Ollie Watkins getting called up for England. And if you look at how Ollie Watkins have stepped up massively, and he looks a completely different player now Bamford hadn't improved. He's still that frustrating player that doesn't take chances, or he's in and out of games. He's injured a lot of the time. And I think the injuries have taken his toll on his body. I don't think he's never had a lot of pace, I wouldn't say, as a player. So if he's had these injuries as well, his pace is probably lacked again as well. So
I think the problem is it's the ego that comes with it.
Well, that's the thing he's been criticised for, isn't it? Is that he shouldn't have taken that penalty, and he's almost done it to prove a point to the fans and get his goal and say they see I've won the penalty, I've scored the penalty. And really, what he should have done was thought, right, I've won the penalty, great. If we win the game, that'll go down as a positive, and we're moving in the right direction. And what he did by taking and missing the penalty was he's gone back. He's come back again. You know what I mean? He's in reverse, really. But would you be more concerned if as a striker he didn't want to take the penalty? Possibly. You've got a number 9 who says, "Oh no, I don't want to take it. You're all right." You'd be a little bit worried. So just crack on, like you say. If we're all Leeds out, we're all marching on together. Let's do that. Not pick and choose.
Righto. So 14 played. Won 7, drawn 4, lost 3. Were third in the Championship, 25 points. Pretty good start for the 49ers and Daniel Farke. Yeah,
probably the Wednesday game aside, I'd if we'd have won that game, we were on 28 points, 2 points, 2 points a game average. I'd have been more than happy, and that was probably the game that's been the most disappointing in that respect. But yeah, you couldn't ask for much more. If somebody had said third after 14 games, I'd have took that. I think the weird thing is that I don't think we've ever had I think a start like we've had now would have had us top in most other seasons, wouldn't it? It's odd that kind of Ipswich and Leicester have kind of done what they've done, because in the Championship that's pretty rare. You lose a game you shouldn't, you get beaten by a team you shouldn't. So I think last couple of seasons with 25 points, you say?
25 points, yeah.
Yeah, we'd have been top, I think, last two or three years. So,
in his press conference, he was asked about his time at Norwich. I think it was a press conference for the who did we play? Huddersfield game. I forgot who we played yesterday. And he said that apparently we're in a better position where Norwich were when he was at Norwich when they got promoted as champions already. I mean, personally, I think we are probably fighting just for second place now. The way Leicester have, it's going to be a record season if they carry on the way they are. But I can't see Ipswich carrying on this momentum. I think they're 1 or 2 away from a couple of injuries where they will struggle. I cannot see them carrying on the way they are. I just can't.
Yeah.
No, look, they were lucky yesterday. I mean, fucking hell, they gave away a blatant red card, and a guy clean through on goal and got nothing. It's like they've got a lot of lucky decisions. I mean, they're one of them teams that sort of sneak under the radar a bit, aren't they? And it kind of works to their benefit up to now, but it'll play itself out over a season, won't it? I reckon. And when you think about the road on sending off and a few other decisions that have cost us, I think it'll probably even itself out. Hopefully.
Don't you think we're under the radar? Gone under the radar a little bit though, because of what happened at the start of the season with the ownership, and then a lot of the players leaving. A lot of people wrote us off straight away because of some of the players, but we just seem to steadily just keep plugging away. No one's really mentioning Leeds. It's all about how Leicester and Ipswich are doing.
I don't know about that, but have Leeds ever gone under the radar? Is it possible? I think our first season back in the Premier League for 16 years, I think we went under the radar a bit then. People weren't prepared for us.
I think always a big scalp. I think whenever we're turning up at a place, it'll draw interest. I don't think we're ever be accused of going under the radar, both fans and team. I think people will be looking forward to playing Leeds and hopefully beating Leeds. So I think that it becomes that sort of everybody's cup final situation. Leicester probably the same. In fairness to them, they've done really well because there'll be teams that want to beat them as a relegated Premier League side, and they've hardly dropped a point, have they? So I mean,
I don't even understand why they're here or how they're here.
No.
Well,
didn't they win the FA Cup?
Yeah.
Are they in the Champions League?
But do you know who Leicester have lost against this season?
No.
Wednesday.
Hull.
Somebody shit.
Was it?
Hull. So the goal, the result we got against was at Hull could be not a bad result considering. Because Rossini's, I think I rate him as a really good coach because when he was a pundit, he spoke really well. He didn't do a lot of the cliche stuff. His theology was very good and really interesting. So what he's doing there, I think they're going to do quite well this season.
Yeah, me too. And you look at Stoke. Stoke have won. I think Stoke won 3 on the bounce.
Yeah,
they beat Borough, didn't they? And they beat somebody before us, Sunderland maybe, and us. So I mean, that's the thing. You catch a team on form in this division. I think the thing that Leeds are going to have to do is we're going to have to go on that sort of Farke run of 7 games, winning 7 games in a row. Look at Middlesbrough. I mean, they were like 4th from bottom, and suddenly they were 2 points behind us because they won, 6 out of 7 or whatever it was. So you just have to go on that run, don't you? And it can change things. I think Ipswich are there. I think Leicester maybe around Christmas time might drop a few points, and whether it's enough for us to get, be in the race, I don't know, in the conversation. But nobody's going to run away with it, I don't think. To that extent where it just keeps going on a run like it is for them at the moment. I think certainly Ipswich are, you'd be lucky. I mean, the disappointing thing about Ipswich is they've got the 2 best left backs in the, or the left back that Leif Davis is player of the season for them so far. And we've got Firpo and we're playing a right back at left back, and it's like, hell, how did we manage to do that? He had a cracker yesterday.
Incidentally, top scorer in the Championship. Anybody? You know who it is?
Somebody who played for us.
Yeah.
Is it Jack Clark?
It is. It's Jack Clark.
Oh, yeah. Imagine if we'd have kept that team together. Clark, Leif Davis, we'd have fucking been flying. But, hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? Clark's only just coming back to form after almost, obscurity, isn't he? So...
Okay, Scooby D2 says getting wicked lag. Don't know why. Updated YouTube and speed test off over 100. It's probably Barney's internet.
Keeps everything. It's like virus.
Top Banana, your podcast is just refreshing. Not happened with any other. Not as refreshing as a Top Banana.
Indeed. That's because we're just here intermittently. We don't steal the limelight. We're not here every week 3 times doing match reviews and all that business. It's
our viewers have definitely dropped off a cliff since the last.
I know, yeah.
The last one.
Probably Sunday night's not the one, is it?
It's not the one. It's not the one.
We wanted to get back and get the rust off though before we start again, didn't we?
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, that's it. When you hit a team in the Championship and they're in form, then it's going to be difficult. But I mean, if you look at the Norwich game, we didn't play our best, but we we went 2 goals down sort of fairly early on, but that's when you need your players, Summerville, to drag you through those games. Look at what Pablo did for us, dragged us over the line in so many different games. So, and then the next game sort of didn't play him, and I feel like he's sort of figuring out his squad and a few of the creases. What's happened there, Matt? You've mirrored yourself. Oh no,
I'm pissing about.
You
I've
were
unmirrored myself.
Yeah, you unmirrored yourself.
It took me 45 minutes to realise that everything's back to front in my room, and I'm like, why does everything look really weird? Anyway, I'm back now. I feel better now. I'm generally getting some sort of like seasickness or sickness from being backwards.
Good to see your eyes in the right place.
Yeah, exactly. Not the first time I've been accused of being backwards as well. But anyway, that's another story.
Right, on this day then, 29th of October, assistant manager Gus Poyet left the club to join Tottenham Hotspur. There you go.
Really? Distant memory, that, innit? Liked Poyet on this day. Very good.
By Joe Burns. Right then, so this is the section of the podcast where we can talk about whatever we want. That's your thing.
We're done with football now.
Yeah, I'm done with it. I stayed up all night trying to watch this fucking shit Fury fight.
Yeah, you've had enough, haven't you?
And then I got 4 hours sleep. I'm fucking knackered. I've been sick recently.
What have you? Oh, as in poorly? Oh, genuinely
poorly.
Physically sick? Yeah.
No. You don't want the details.
No, not particularly.
No.
I don't know why I'm delving. Why I'm delving is a mystery. I don't need to know.
No, well, I've got Crohn's disease and I got given some wrong medication, which made everything worse. And it's like cumulative. So that this type of medication builds up. It doesn't like, it's not like everything social media. Everybody wants everything now. Click of a button. This works over time. So it builds up in your body more and more and more. And so if you take the wrong one, then you're just gonna get worse and worse and worse. And then when you stop, you won't get better for a while. So then I went on to hopefully the right medication, which is again building up in your system over and over, like over time. So I had to kick all the old crap out and put all the new shit in. And
wow,
sounds shite.
Yeah.
Literally sounds shite.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Nora brought a flu back. So then I've been suffering with a cold for the last few days. God knows.
The cafe.
Yeah.
The calf.
Yeah. That's what happens when you're... Yeah, the greasy
Vienna's only greasy spoon. Excellent.
I've told her to stop licking lampposts on the way home.
For those who just tuned in, this is not a medical looking podcast. This is actually a Leeds United podcast. Yeah. Honest.
Sometimes,
yeah. Our best moments are off piste, so
yeah. Let's go very off piste.
What are we doing? Your thing? Are you doing your thing, Barney? Or what have you been doing, Barney?
What have I been doing?
Interesting.
No, not really. No, I think that wanted to go all political, but I think what's happening in Gaza and how Twitter has just become an absolute cesspit is unbelievable.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
Cut out.
Not the Gaza.
Turn his camera off on it quick. Track on everything gone. Oh, Barney seems to have... Oh, yeah, there you go. Class. He started talking about Israel and Gaza Strip. Fucking no, well, that'll be it. We'll make ourselves targets. No. I've deliberately stayed away from it for lots of reasons that I don't think Twitter's the place to discuss it.
No, that's fine.
I don't think you're getting high level analysis of...
Yeah.
You're not getting high-level analysis of 100+ years of conflict on Twitter. Thousands, yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's fucking staggering, isn't it? But I'm sure all the world's problems will eventually get solved on Twitter. It's like if you give a monkey a typewriter, but it's not happening this time soon.
That's a great analogy.
That's definitely it.
It's
Yeah,
exactly
yeah.
that, isn't it? Exactly that.
It is.
Except Twitter is giving what 1 billion people.
Monkeys.
Yeah, 1 billion.
Typewriters. Yeah.
Typewriter. Yeah.
And we still haven't typed the works of Shakespeare. Far from it. Yeah, fucking hell. It's a bit dire, isn't it?
And it's an angry place.
A very depressing place. Do you know what it is, though? The more time you spend on Twitter, the more depressing it is, because actually, go out in the street and, people, Leeds, there was a big kick-off in Leeds. I've been in Leeds loads, I've not seen any of that. Everybody's been really friendly, and there's, you look at what happened in London, there's people saying, all these people protesting, we've lost our streets. And then you look at it, half of them were Jewish, quite a lot of them were Christian. It's just people protesting against the god-awful situation. It's not an uprising by any stretch. And it's funny because I'm going to London this week, so I'll find out. I'll report back. I might do a live thing like I did from when I went to watch Pablo play. Live Metcalf, like Annika Rice. I'll get my ass out and everything and do a live stream from the streets of London.
Start asking random pro-Palestinian supporters questions about Leeds. So what do you think about Patrick Bamford?
Yeah.
Is his time at Leeds? Is his time at Leeds coming to an end?
Yeah.
Free Palestine!
Is Ayling finished or not?
It's an angry place, isn't it, at the moment? It's extremely angry. I went onto Twitter after the Fury match this morning, and people were just like, this is a disgrace! The referees are...
Just keep shouting into the abyss. It's great, isn't it? Shout into the abyss. You could literally shout out your window and more people would fucking hear you than on Twitter. It's like, especially Musk's got hold of the algorithms. It's like, you send out a tweet which you think, that's relatively interesting, and like it gets one like, and you think, I've sort of give up on it. I don't really go on very often now. I don't message very often. I sort of use it as a bit more of an observational thing, but the more you observe, the more fucking depressing it gets. So I've kind of cut myself off a little bit from it.
So
I should leave it, really. If it weren't for the fact that I've got a podcast to promote and I sometimes like going on just for a laugh, I'd probably fuck it off.
If it weren't for Barney, we'd be having like basically no marketing at all. Barney's the single one. I mean, you're on social media all the time. You got more followers than any of us.
Yeah, but I don't tweet as often as I used to. I did tweet like constantly. But now it's just not worth the hassle. It's really not worth the hassle. You just think, I do actually start...
Happy clapper, what else?
I type something, you just think, is it worth it? Is it really worth it? And then there's some people are calling you thick as mince when the last week they said the government's controlling the weather, and you think, I mean, is it really worth arguing with these people? It's really not.
It isn't. It's like when you see
how many fucking Gaza tweets have you deleted before you've sent them?
Many.
Well, I've learned now as well. I think I'm probably growing up as well that don't tweet something that you don't really know anything about. All I look at it is that I'm not taking sides. I just think it's fucking awful, this war and what's happening in Ukraine and everything. I just look at it politically. I just look at people are dying, and that's all it is for me. But yeah, it's just the amount of misinformation. And I'm a true believer that some of these things that's happening, these protests and a lot of things happening in the world is bred by what's being put online by grifters, and the people are monetizing this and watching people suffer, and they're following people who are like politically lost and things, and they're making money out of it. They're not there for the freedom of speech or anything. So anyway, I'll get off my high horse now.
I've been to Israel twice, right? And I've been diving out at Taba, which is on the Egypt-Israel border, so not massively far from sort of Gaza and all that. And I don't even want to say it. I've refrained from getting involved for these reasons because it's incendiary, but as soon as nobody's watching, fucking Israelis are some of the most horrible people I've ever fucking met. So that's all I can comment on. I didn't want to put it on because I thought, that's got nothing to do with it. If somebody came into my backyard and into my country and brutally murdered loads of innocent people, I'd be fucked off, admittedly. But they're just horrible cunts, aren't they? And always have been. So whatever. Ultimately, I've just undone the fact I was going to stay out of it. But, they are some of the most angry, aggressive, fucking horrible people I've ever met. So, and weirdly, we went... Me and my pal, when we've been diving, went and did a Bedouin.
I thought you were going to
experience
be
with-
really politically correct then.
No,
I thought you were
okay,
going to tread the
fuck it.
line.
I can't do it, can I? I was fucking keeping my mouth shut, and then my insides were like literally burning. My mouth was like, oh, say it. But no, I think probably I say it for this reason. I think I'm probably more qualified to comment on how incendiary that part of the world is and the mentality of some of the people. But I've still refrained from putting it on social media because fucking why would you? But yeah, we did a Bedouin experience. The nicest people we met in the entire time we were in Israel twice was the Bedouins that we went out into the middle of the desert with and camped with overnight. They were fucking brilliant. So there you go. That's my take on, every Muslims seem to get a really hard time and it's all them and they're agitators and they're all terrorists. But fucking, they were the nicest people we met when we were out there. So, but again, don't get involved in that shit because it's so complex. We've seen loads of stuff. We were out there in Israel when the Nigerian Christians got shot at in Luxor. There was loads of mass killing, and they all ended up moving to a hotel just along the way from us in Eilat in Israel. So it's always been people coming up the beach on dinghies, machine gunning. It's like fucking hell. It's just awful. And like Barney said, the most disappointing thing or the depressing thing is it's always the collateral and the kind of the human collateral for it is always innocent people, and that's the horrible thing, and I don't trust any government. I don't trust the Israeli government. I don't trust Hamas. I don't trust a lot of the governments around the world for like the way that they, how we've stood back from it and not got involved or made any. It's fucking awful.
You're telling me Rishi Sunak isn't trustworthy?
Fucking hell!
Come on, Ewan.
None of them bellends are trustworthy, have they? They can't. The only thing that they've actually done right recently was the 4-day week, and they're fucking cancelling that now because it's working. I mean, that's how people are having a good time and enjoying working 4 days a week and being more productive. Nah, fuck that. When we said we wanted to make improvements, not that way. You're not human beings having a better time and having a better work-life balance. Fuck that.
Yeah, that's not what life's about.
No, is it bollocks? What, having a good time and enjoying your life and working hard? No, fuck that. No wonder the country's on its ass. And speaking of going to London, I'm going to be in a tube system and a fucking drainage system that's kept London, going for hundreds of years. Imagine trying to do that now with the fucking bellends we've got in charge and the people who, supposedly the brains behind these things. Fucking hell, we've got no chance.
That's why tube scares the hell out of me.
Does it? Why?
I just don't know how it works. I just don't know how it works.
Like
it's a bit like.
I just like look at that map.
Once you get it, it's great.
My wife's like, yeah, we need to go there. I'm like, how do we get there? Oh, you need to go on that line, then that line. Then I literally get off the tube like, how do we get here then? Yeah. What do I do? Oh, we need to go up there and that way. I'm like, I've no idea what we're doing here. I'm literally one of those people when you walk up the steps into the city, like, wow, we're here. That's amazing.
Prince of Bel-Air meme.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Honestly, I've got some magic beans I want to sell you, Barney.
Yeah, it's not that difficult, mate.
It really is. It really is.
I've got some liquor that makes your fucking hair grow full and makes you better looking and 20 years younger, Barney. Do you want to buy it? Grand a bottle.
I mean, I'm surprised you went to Israel. We learned about the Israel-Palestinian conflict in high school, and ever since then I was just like, no way would I ever go there.
We're going to war-torn areas of the world. It's fucking great. It's massive risk, innit? I love the jeopardy. It's a bit like when Bielsa was manager at Leeds. I just love the fucking jeopardy. High jeopardy is all for me. No, do you know what it was? I used to go diving
the Ross Kemp of North Leeds.
Yeah, I might start doing that. That's what I might do for my next podcast idea. Lunatic from Leeds goes to war-torn parts of the world. No, do you know what it was? I used to go diving a lot, like deep sea diving with my mate, open water diving. So yeah, we used to go all over the world. And to be fair, wow, if there's one thing Israel is good for, it's that. The diving's superb. Red Sea is just amazing. It's literally you can get 25 grand fine or put in prison for taking a bit of coral off the beach. When you sometimes go to like Thailand and you get a couple of shells, or literally it's so protected. So it's a beautiful place to dive for the divers amongst the 3 people watching.
25 grand. Fine.
Yeah, there's big signs on that. It's not a particularly nice part of. It's not a particularly attractive place to spend time. But the Taba, the Egypt-Israel border, the Taba, it's called. It looks like a bloody, not a building site, but it's not particularly attractive. But tell you what, you go in the water. That's probably why, because there's no people there. You go into the water there, and you can within 2 feet. You can throw a few Pringles in the water, and there's about 200 fish around you. Like, it's amazing, and you see everything. Stonefish, lionfish, clownfish. It's just like they've got an observatory underwater. I've swum with dolphins there. It's absolutely tremendous. And yeah, there's signs on the beach at Tabba saying, basically, if you remove any artifacts from the beach and you caught, it's a 25 grand, or whatever their currency was, 25 grand fine, and you can go to jail for stuff, taking artifacts off the beach. So yeah, it's pretty protected to bits, but it's fantastic. Great part of the world, just a bit like Wales, apart from the people. I'm only joking. I love Wales, really. France. Let's go France. Lovely, beautiful part of the world. But people spoil it.
To be fair to the Israelis, you're not special. Ewan hates everybody.
You're not alone there. Yeah. Unless you're from a very small corner of North Leeds, I'm not particularly fond anyway. So yeah.
Nice one then. Right, what's your thing? What's your thing?
Fucking hell. I've had cold for about a month. It's pissing me off. And I'm off to London on Tuesday for a week. Till Friday. We're off to watch Back to the Future, go a bit of shopping, Borough Market, Barney. So you'll have to give me a few tips. If you've got any tips, by the way, Barney, give me a few points. It's a while since I've been. I used to be I was down there all the time for work. So I used to spend a lot of time finding places to eat and stuff. So if you've got any tips for me, Barney, just with being down there recently.
Yeah, definitely.
We're staying in a really lovely part of London, and you can get the canal into like the Borough Market and stuff from where we are in West London. So looking forward to that. Away with the kids and the missus for a few days. I'm sure they will be looking forward to it. Spending 4 full days with me, but hey ho, everybody's got their cross to bear. That's theirs.
Nice one, Barnes.
What's my thing? Not a lot, really. I've been quite good recently. I've been good.
You've been good.
Been good.
Go on, fucking enlighten us. What have you been doing? Or what have you not been doing?
Yeah.
Not tweeting silly stuff on Twitter to get a few bites.
Not getting into drunken, precarious situations.
Well, to be fair, yesterday got the train in. Got into Leeds at 10 o'clock. Was straight on the beer, and I got home at 8 o'clock last night, I think. And I'll be honest, I'm feeling it today. I am. Yeah. I didn't feel rough this morning, but I'm feeling it. Yeah.
In the liver.
No, I was just tired, and then I had to go on a walk at 10:30 in the morning this morning. So yeah, I'm feeling it.
What you mean? What you mean? Just put your clothes out across the street where Katie had fucking chucked them.
Well, I had a cash card on me, because I went out for the pub on Friday night, and it was still in my wallet. And being pissed, I just used her card to buy her out. But literally, as soon as I paid, it flashed up on her phone that I spent some money. So yeah. Happy about that.
Have you just on WhatsApp? Have you just brought around in the Peacock, Stuart? You bastard! By the way, the Stuart thing's a fucking weird one. By the way, Stuart's a weird because your Uncle John, bless him, God bless Uncle John, who often gets me tickets, or certainly amongst others gets me tickets for games. Stuart, he keeps saying about Stuart, and for about 10 minutes, I'm like, who the fucking hell is he on about? And I played along thinking, I must know this Stuart because he keeps talking about him like I know him. And I'm thinking, I don't know who he's on about, but I was just playing dumb, like, yeah, Stuart, yeah, great lad. Oh, he's great, Stuart, yeah, I love Stuart. Who the fuck's Stuart? And I've got a best mate, my best mate's called Gobby. Right? He was called Simon Gosling, but his nickname's Gobby and has been Gobby since we were about 15. So when people say Simon, I'm like, who the fuck is Simon? Even now, I'm like, who's Simon? And my kids say, oh, Simon. Simon who? Oh, Gobby. Yeah. So you've got that same. Your nickname has preceded your actual Christian name, mate.
Yeah. Well, my uncle and my dad are the original Barneys, so I'm sort of Barney Junior in a way.
Barney Rubble.
Yeah.
Barney, that fucking purple dinosaur.
Well, it's actually people think it's a purple dinosaur, but it's actually Barney Rubble. Yeah.
It's a massive hemorrhoid.
Yeah.
It's a diseased penis. Right, David Thornton. Barney, he did last night. He did get up to no good. So we've
Where
got
did you end up,
we've got an
Barney?
insider.
Yeah, we all
here.
want to know where you ended. We all want to know. Yeah,
where did you
David,
end up?
spill the beans, man. Where did you end up?
No idea. Went to the Peacock after, and then we went into a. What's that?
Katie on the phone with the. Who are these rose spritzers for that you're buying? I can see it all, you know.
It's got to be a girl with a rose spritzer. You fucking buying drinks for girls, you bastard.
I fell asleep on the train on the way home as well.
Oh, really? Did you? Because you were in Newcastle, mate.
Fell asleep on the train.
Yeah, but I managed to wake up for Starbeck. But the last time I fell asleep on the train, ended up in Knaresborough. I'm like, how have I got here? I actually remember getting up and saying, why has the train gone through the station? I get off. And I'm like, oh, I've slept. At least I didn't end up in York. That would have been interesting.
I've done that before. Coming home from the Hacienda the morning after, fell asleep on the train, missed Leeds, ended up in York. Like, great. I've had no sleep. I'm off my tits, off my chops, and now I've got to fucking work out a way with zero money to get back from York to Leeds.
I did once get on the wrong train.
Yeah, a bit like white dog shit. Doing runners from taxis is fucking like a bit of a dying art now, isn't it? But back in them days, it was all the rage. Just near these fields, mate. Yeah, that's where I want to get off. Before his engine's even stopped, before he's put it in fucking his handbrake on, everybody running across fields.
No, that field with the trees. No, the trees.
Yeah. There used to be a field with a wall, like a 4-foot wall. It had about an 8-foot drop on the other side, and we used to just here, mate. It's fine. Straight over the wall, gone. See you later. Never to be seen again.
Yeah, me and my mate went to a V Fest in Australia, and we got so drunk the night before that we decided to stay up all night and go to the festival. We ended up in my mate's dresses. We were both wearing dresses. That's how pissed we were. Got into the festival, and we made it. To be fair, we made it all the way to the last act, which was the Prodigy. We just seen, is it Pendulum or somebody?
Yeah.
Anyway, Prodigy came on, and that was the moment that I sobered up, and all of a sudden, I felt very, very ill. And we decided right after we'd thrown up that we probably best leave. And that's when we passed out on the train back to his place. And we both passed out, woke up at the end stop. It was like, oh fuck. Got back on the train back the other way. Woke up at the end stop again in the city. Oh no, fucking we've done it again.
Oh my god. The trains, you got to sleep trains though, don't it? It's that movement. Yeah. It's that noise and that fucking humming movement. Yeah.
It's like being in the womb.
That's the danger of the tube though, is that's another one. I've done it on the tube before. I ended up in, is it North Finchley? I was supposed to be getting off at Angel and fucking Highbury, and ended up miles past, because the tube's a bad one for when you're pissed falling asleep. I've since not got the tube when I'm drunk. Rather get a taxi or walk. Anyway,
we got on the train. We did it again. We did it again 3 times, and he had his watch stolen off his fucking wrist. That's how pissed we were. That's how absolutely, completely, and utterly, totally obliterated we were. It was bad, man. It was really bad.
You needed to take something to keep you awake, really, not fucking get pissed when you're falling asleep 3 times.
Yeah, well, it had all run out. Anyway,
the worst thing is,
I
bet you'd have been like that. Right, we're going to stay awake and just try and keep awake until we get to the place we're getting off. And then literally, that's the stop before. We're nearly there.
Yeah.
We're nearly there.
I'll just close my eyes for a second.
Just for a second, because I'll be getting off in a minute. Just to get my energy up to get off the train. See you later.
I've actually managed to get on the wrong train once after a game and ended up in Bradford Interchange.
Good. That's the place you want to end up.
It's not, because I'm like, what am I going to do now? So I have to get a bus, get a train back into Leeds, and then a bus, then a train. Yeah, so not great.
Public transport's wank anyway.
So what we learned from this: don't drink.
Right. Yeah. Don't drink and don't go to Israel.
Yeah. No, go to Israel. It's great. Just Yeah, be
Maybe
aware.
wait a few years.
Yeah, well, I won't be going back now. Bastards as well. I'm going to say I might leave it a few till I go back because they'll know about it because they're that fucking. Honestly, the Secret Service there, it's like fucking mental. When you get off the plane, they're like, oh, I went like typically relaxed, went and stood, and they fucking hell, they check everything, man. So they're going through all your stuff, and so I sat on a table. There's a table behind where they put your bag and stuff, and I sat, and there's this like Israeli army officer, whatever, and he's going, stand up and look me in the eyes while I'm checking you, while I'm talking to you. Oh, fucking hell,
Bit
really?
kinky.
Yeah, I know, but like they're just really they're proper on top. And then, of course, when you're walking around holiday destinations and you've got 10 lads all in the army, they're not allowed to let their guns out of their sight. So they're literally walking around on a night out, drinking with a big fucking automatic rifle. And you're like, probably not my thing, Couldn't get away with that in Leeds. Anyway.
Sounds fun, that. No.
That's why I'll never go back to the States. Just crazy people. Crazy people with guns.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Right. My thing. Well, there's loads of things because it's been so long. It's been over a month since we last did a pod. But a highlight was Equalizer 3, and I told you about it, Ewan. But
I watched it.
Yeah.
I watched it on your say so. I really enjoyed it. They're not really my kind of films, then, but I do like the Equalizer ones. And obviously, I'll let you go on. You say, go on.
No, it's all right. It's just Mac's been going on about Italy, and you can see it in the background actually.
Yeah, I've got loads of Italian pictures behind me, Amalfi and Tuscany.
Amalfi Coast there, yeah.
Oh, that's that village where fucking hell, what am I doing here? Fucking hell, that's the village.
This is definitely it. Is this either an intelligence test or a sober test? Isn't it?
I've fucking gone on it. I've gone. Yeah, that one there is the village where it's filmed. Equalizer 3. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just Mac has been going on about how beautiful the Amalfi Coast, sort of like the south coast of Italy is, and yeah, just I absolutely fell in love with it. Equalizer 3, Denzel Washington. I love the Equalizer movies anyway. Really good. Denzel Washington is he's just a fantastic actor. Him and Forrest Whitaker, I think, very difficult to compete with those two. Just their acting skills. Forrest in Ghost Dog, that was fantastic, and Godfather of Harlem. But Equalizer 3,
yeah, I like that.
Absolutely brilliant film. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's very good. Make you fall in love with a small Italian town. I really fell in love with it. I was really like, by the end of that film, I wanted to move to a small Italian town and just live out the rest of my days in heaven, basically, heaven on earth.
It's very easy to do that though, because I've been to a few where I thought pretty sure I could make a living out here. Or it probably wouldn't be the living I make in Leeds, and be happy and just have that sort of laid back lifestyle and that sort of citadel that you're on about is particularly beautiful. But there's loads. Like I've been to places other side Puglia and loads around the Amalfi Coast, Ravello, Positano, Maori, and there's a place called, I think I showed you a picture, called Cinque Terre, which is up on the kind of northwest coast, past like Viareggio and Fort di Marmi up on that coast, and it's absolutely stunning. It's like a little fishing village where all the houses are painted different colours, and it's a stunner. It's like that translates as the Five Earths, and it's just, Cinque Terre is amazing. It's a beautiful place.
Cinque Terre.
Cinque Terre. Yeah, it means the Five Earths, so five lands, whatever. But beautiful place. There's loads of little spaces like that though, where you just think, I'd probably get bored, wouldn't I? Eventually.
Yeah.
Piss off all and everybody'd know me. I'd piss everybody off quite quickly. It'd be like I'd have to move out. House prices would drop. They'd all want me out. Yeah. Burning effigies of me in the street and stuff. I'd have to move. But
calling you the darkness and
the Prince of Darkness.
The warlock.
Yeah, exactly.
Reminded me of Kefalonia. A few images of it, just how all the little houses are all different coloured, and just the sort of the tranquil nature of a tiny little village in a Mediterranean setting.
It's weird, isn't it? Because even you got Scarborough. I mean, I'm not comparing Scarborough to places like Aldwych. I'm really not. But like seaside places, coastal places tend to change less. But particularly in Italy, they've not changed for hundreds of years. So that kind of captivating you, that compelling sort of story, the kind of architecture, the way that they look and feel hasn't changed for hundreds of years, and you get that history when you go there as well. So I think that's can be said of a lot of places. If you think about, they built them new flats on the North Beach at Scarborough. They've done all, it's kind of tacky as fuck, isn't it? But those places out in Italy and probably similar, you mentioned Catalonia, but Greece is the same, isn't it? Things don't change for hundreds of years. It's the same for, the same taverna or the same one restaurant or whatever. Yeah, I think that's part of the attraction, isn't it? It's stayed the same for years.
Yeah, my dad was building houses out there in the 70s, and he like the way that they taught house building. It had been the same for hundreds of years. It wasn't like they weren't slapping up these buildings that are just obviously made to make money.
Cheap.
Yeah.
It's funny because talking of that, we're getting onto architecture now. We're a fucking diverse bunch out. We're very urbane, but like Leeds, they're knocking down buildings that I've worked on. So like buildings that I worked on sites in the late 80s are coming down now. They're building student flats. The core, which was the old Schofield Centre, I worked on that as a site, and they're on about pulling it down and building. So I heard a brilliant quote this week where they were talking about a cathedral. I can't remember where it was now, but they were saying, why don't we build buildings like this anymore? Why are we incapable of building the kind of buildings that we built 200, 300, 400 years ago, where we didn't have the tools, the manpower, we weren't able to import things as easily. And the quote was that it's because back then we had convictions, whereas now we just have opinions, which I think was fucking what a brilliant quote, and pretty much sums up what we've been saying about Twitter and everything else, that we were convicted to doing things and had a conviction to make brilliant buildings and make them stand out for hundreds of years, whereas now we just have a fucking room full of people with opinions and big mouths.
I think also as well, because obviously my stepfather was an architect, and one of the things was obviously they had to build after the war, so they built all these buildings, and then especially during the 60s, some of the buildings were absolutely awful. And then the 70s as well. But council have got far too. What are we talking about now on this podcast? But anyway, but council's got involved far too much for buildings. I mean, you work with Leeds City Council. They don't have an idea on how to make the city better for what it should be. So
there's too much bureaucracy now as well. I've said it for ages. The building regulations. I mean, they obviously have these listed building thing which protects buildings, which is great. But then the way that you could bring a listed building to life. So let's say Leeds Market or Temple Works that we're involved with at the minute, which is an iconic building in Leeds. You can't do the things you want because building regs stops you doing something to sensitively extend or to kind of make that building good and bring it back to life again. So I think our building regs and our legislations and bureaucracy stops a lot of things that could be good ever happening, really.
Here's an interesting fact for you before we go. The grid system in New York, where do you think that was? Where do you think they got the idea from?
York?
Nope.
The grid system.
You see how I got there?
I see. Yeah.
The grid system.
Barcelona.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe Barcelona. No, must be somewhere in England. London.
Yes. No.
Milton Keynes.
The grid system. Where's Doncaster?
Whitehaven.
Fucking hell! You what?
Yeah, that's where they got the grid system from Whitehaven.
Jesus wept.
There's a lot of facts for you.
You can draw a lot of lines between Whitehaven and New York, I must admit. There's a lot of comparisons. Not too dissimilar.
Rightio. Well, on that bombshell. Another recommendation is Bodies. I watched that recently. That was really good. And do you know what? We're watching the US Office. I've never seen it before.
I couldn't get into it.
I had to stop watching the first season because it was just a knockoff of something much better that I've already seen. But started on the second one. It's really funny, and it's not as cringy. It's not the UK Office, but it's just a funny little sitcom.
If you haven't watched the Jimmy Savile thing with Steve Coogan,
I've watched it. Yeah,
he played it very well. I thought
he did.
Yeah, I watched one episode, and then I decided that I was becoming depressed and I had to stop watching it.
He's pretty depressing, isn't it? But it's good.
Yeah,
You say
man.
Coogan played a brilliant part. He played him brilliantly, didn't he? But yeah, I don't know how many more things I can watch about him and Peter Sutcliffe and stuff. Really, it's like,
Yeah.
fucking hell. All right. I think part of the reason that particularly people like Peter Sutcliffe would have done it was notoriety. Eventually, you know, when he did get caught, he'd have been lived in the hearts and minds of people for years to come, and we're almost perpetuating that by every 10 years or 15 years or however celebration of whatever, bringing out a new program about him from a different angle. And it's like, can we give it a rest now? Just let fucking bygones be bygones. Let the you know, people's families who, I mean, I know quite a lot of families who were affected by the Ripper, and I don't think they view it particularly fondly.
No,
Probably the
but
same with it.
I did
South
like The
Africa.
Long Shadow. I liked it because they kind of focused on the lives of the
coppers.
victims and the police corruption
How
and
shit they were.
incompetence. So I
And
like
Danny
that.
Mays is great. Danny Mays is great, and he's a very good actor as well.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that yet, but I've watched the Cougar thing. I think the thing about the Cougar thing, the Jimmy Savile thing, is slightly different because there were obviously a lot of victims that came on and, you know, did a talking heads bit at the start and at the end of the episodes, and that. But I think because it was covered, people covered it over for such a long period of time. They wanted to come out and have their voice on it, which is, you know, probably quite cathartic and important. But yeah, we're kind of done with that now, surely, aren't we?
Yes, I mean, especially when it gets sung at us every single
every week.
football game, and nothing's
Huddersfield
ever
didn't
done
sing
about it.
yesterday, did Huddersfield didn't sing it yesterday, did they?
They sang it, I think it was in the first 20 minutes, and then after that,
Oh, did
it
they?
died off. Yeah.
Right.
Because wasn't the retort Jimmy Savile's fucked all your dogs or something?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Was it that?
Didn't hear that.
Which I thought was, you know, as they go, I thought, well, fair play. Yeah.
Well,
but
there's always going to be a retort. The South Stand out particularly slow in coming
that's
back with
it.
it. Yeah. They like being underdogs, though, Huddersfield, don't they?
Yeah.
Over dogs, behind dogs. In fact, anywhere on a dog, if they love it. Fuckers.
He's drawing a dog. He's drawing a dog.
Yeah. They're in for a pound, as they say.
I think we're backing up the wrong tree here anyway.
Yeah.
What noise does it make when it goes up? Woof. Woof. Yeah. Believe in it. Fucking great character.
God. We should have ended this episode a long time ago. At least before the building regulations.
The building regs was a good highlight.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get lots of comments on that. And yeah, anyway, fuck it.
Right.
We're only here to entertain ourselves most of the time anyway. It's fine. Nobody's watching. We'll cut it out in edit. It's fine.
All right, that's your lot. Quick prediction against Leicester. Away at Leicester.
Come on, Barney. I have to think about this one. I always like to have more time, but I should probably just throw it out there.
I think we're going to beat them 1-0.
Dear,
All right.
fucking hell. It's brave.
Scorer? Patrick
Bruce
Bamford penalty.
Bruce,
Okay.
I think this could be a game when Farke came to Leeds and we in the first season under Bielsa and he blew Leeds apart 4-1. I can see something like that saying, right, here we go.
All right.
But not going to batter them 4-1 anyway.
You had enough time?
Yeah. 2-2.
2-2.
Go for Desmond on this one. Yeah, I think
Desmond?
it'll be. Catsy's keeping a clean sheet. We couldn't even keep a clean sheet against Huddersfield, who had fucking no shots on target, I don't think, or one. Yeah, Catsy's keeping a clean sheet at the moment. Shame, innit? Because actually, for a load of weeks, that was what we were doing. Wasn't it? It was clean sheet, and always going to half a chance, aren't you? But yeah, 2-2.
So, caveat: if Rodon is fit, then I think we've got a chance of winning. Maybe 1-0, like Barney said. If Rodon isn't fit, if he's injured, then I think we're losing. I think we're losing like 2-1, 3-1. Depends how many.
Oh.
We don't do well against Leicester. That's what I've noticed in the last few years. I mean, Barnes is not there anymore, but I know, Vardy likes a goal against us. Yeah, I'm a bit worried about this one, actually, to be honest. Not that confident, but Rodon, he's made a hell of a difference. So that's your lot.
Agreed.
See you later.
Right. Night,
See you
night.
later.
God bless. God bless.